My wife cheated again, so I took everything, exposed her everywhere, and left her with nothing. I knew the pattern before I had proof. That's the thing about second betrayals, you recognize the rhythm. The small shifts. The way someone starts living in a different time zone than you, even when they're sitting right across the breakfast table. My name is Cale Harlow. I'm 42. I own a commercial printing business in Boulder, high-end stuff, corporate branding, product packaging. It's boring to most people, but it pays well and I'm good at it. I've been with Leora for 8 years. Married for 6. 3 years ago, she had an affair with someone from her company. I found out because she got sloppy, left her laptop open, messages right there on the screen. When I confronted her, she cried for hours. Said she was confused, that work stress made her vulnerable, that she'd never forgive herself. I believed her. We did therapy. 6 months of sitting on an uncomfortable couch talking about communication and boundaries and rebuilding trust. She promised it would never happen again. I promised I'd try to move past it. And I did. I actually thought we'd made it through stronger. I was wrong. About 2 months ago, the signs started coming back. Little things at first. She'd go for walks after dinner, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. Said she needed to clear her head. Her phone stayed face down on the counter. When I'd text her during the day, responses came slower. One-word answers. Busy. Later. In a meeting. Then there was the look. You know the one. When someone's physically present but mentally somewhere else entirely. Like they're watching a movie you can't see, living in moments you're not part of. I'd catch her staring out the window with this distant expression, and when I'd ask what she was thinking about, she'd snap back with nothing and change the subject. That's when I knew. But here's where I did things differently this time. I didn't confront her. Didn't ask questions. Didn't give her any warning that I suspected anything. Because men who react lose. Men who wait win. I started paying attention. Real attention. Not the angry, desperate kind where you're trying to catch someone in a lie. The cold, methodical kind where you're building a case. I noticed her car's GPS showed recent destinations she'd never mentioned. I checked our shared credit card statements, dinners at restaurants we'd never been to together, hotel bars, parking garages downtown. She works as VP of operations for a luxury hospitality group. Lots of evening events, client dinners, board meetings. Perfect cover for a double life. So I made it easier to track. Our cars are both registered under my business for insurance purposes. Completely legal for me to install a GPS tracker in the vehicle. I bought one online, took 10 minutes to attach it under her rear bumper. Real-time location updates straight to my phone. I set up cloud backups on her phone, something I'd done years ago for safety reasons that she'd forgotten about. Every text, every photo, every deleted message saved automatically to a server I could access. I started a document. Just a simple spreadsheet at first. Dates. Times. Locations. Discrepancies between what she told me and where she actually was. The file grew quickly. Last Tuesday, she told me she had a work dinner downtown. Some VP from their corporate office visiting from out of state. Said she'd be home by 10. I was in my office finishing up design proofs when I checked the tracker app on my phone. Her car wasn't downtown. It was at the Riverside Hotel, 40 minutes west. Off the highway, tucked into the foothills. The kind of place people go when they don't want to be seen. I sat there staring at the little blue dot on my screen. Watched it stay stationary in the parking lot for 3 hours. She came home at 11:15. Kissed me on the forehead. Said the dinner ran long, traffic was terrible. I nodded. Said it was fine. Asked if she wanted tea. She smiled, said she was exhausted, went upstairs to shower. I stayed in my office. Opened my laptop. Created a new document. Titled it, Exit Strategy. And started typing. The cloud backup was a gift I'd set up years ago and completely forgotten about until I needed it. After she'd fallen asleep that night, I logged into the account. Everything was there. Texts she'd deleted weeks ago, thinking they were gone forever. Photos. Location data. All of it automatically saved. I started reading. The other man's name was Donovan Pierce. Regional director at her company. Married. 2 kids, I knew because she'd mentioned him before in passing. Donovan's presenting at the board meeting. Donovan thinks we should expand into the Dallas market. Always professional. Always casual. The messages told a different story. They started innocuous enough. Work stuff. Then compliments. Then late night texts that had nothing to do with hospitality operations. Then plans. Can't stop thinking about Tuesday. My wife's taking the kids to her mother's this weekend. You make me feel alive again. I read through 7 months of conversations. Detailed plans for hotel meetups. Complaints about their spouses, me included. She called me comfortable in one message. Said I was predictable in another. Told him I'd never suspect anything because I trusted too easily. That one made me laugh. Cold, bitter sound in the empty office. There were promises too. Vague ones about when the time is right and once things settle down. The classic affair playbook. 2 people convinced they're in love, too cowardly to actually leave their lives. I didn't sleep that night. Just read. And documented. By morning, I had screenshots of everything. Organized by date. Cross-referenced with GPS data. Credit card receipts. A complete timeline of her double life. Then I made a call. Sharon Voss is a divorce attorney I knew through a business associate, someone who'd gone through a messy split and came out ahead. She has a reputation for being sharp, strategic, and completely unsentimental about marriage. We met at her office on a Thursday afternoon. I told Leora I had a vendor meeting. Sharon listened to everything. Looked through my documentation. Didn't show much reaction until she finished, then she leaned back in her chair. Most people want to confront at this point, she said. Yelling, crying, trying to force a confession. You want to do that? No. She smiled. First genuine smile I'd seen in weeks. Good. Emotional divorces are expensive. Strategic ones aren't. We spent 2 hours mapping it out. First, separate all joint accounts. We had a shared checking account for household expenses, but most of my money ran through the business. She had her own salary account, but there were investments, savings, property, all tangled together. Sharon walked me through it. Move liquid assets into business holdings. Change beneficiaries on life insurance. Update property titles where possible. Document everything that couldn't be moved yet. You want to file first, she explained. Control the narrative. Lock down what's yours before she knows there's a fight. Second, gather every piece of evidence. Not just for my records, for court if needed. Infidelity doesn't always matter in no-fault divorce states, but it matters for leverage. It matters for settlement negotiations. Third, timing. When do you want to file? Sharon asked. I told her I wasn't sure yet. That I needed everything locked down first. She nodded. Take your time. But not too much. The longer you wait, the more risk she notices something's changed. Over the next 2 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. I transferred funds to business accounts. Restructured contracts so my personal assets were protected. Changed passwords. Updated beneficiaries on retirement accounts. Moved family heirlooms into storage. All of it quietly. Methodically. While eating breakfast across from her every morning. She didn't notice a thing. Too busy texting Donovan between meetings. Too distracted by her secret life to see I was systematically dismantling our shared one. There was something surreal about it. Making her coffee. Asking about her day. Listening to her lie about where she'd been. Knowing exactly where she'd actually been because I'd watched the GPS tracker the entire time. One evening, she asked if I was okay. You've been quiet lately, she said, putting her hand on my arm. Is everything all right? Work's been stressful, I told her. Big client presentation coming up. She hugged me. Told me she loved me. Said I worked too hard. I didn't respond. My phone rang while I was reviewing financial documents in my office. Sharon's name on the screen. We're ready to file whenever you are, she said. All the paperwork's drawn up. Just say when. I looked at my calendar. There was a date circled 3 weeks out. Leora's company gala, the biggest event of the year for her firm. Board members, investors, executives. Donovan would be there. His wife would be there. Everyone who mattered to her professional life would be there. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Cold. Calculated. I know exactly when. 3 weeks from now, I told Sharon. Her company's annual gala. I'll send you the details. There was a pause on the line. That's bold. It's appropriate. She didn't argue. I'll have the papers ready. Just tell me when to serve them. Morning after, I said. Let her wake up to it. I hired a private investigator the next day. Found him through a referral, former cop, now does corporate and domestic work. His name was Glenn. Mid-50s, gray hair, the kind of guy who blends into any background. We met at a coffee shop outside town. I need documentation, I told him. Photos, video, timestamps. Everything admissible in court. He slid a contract across the table. How long's this been going on? 7 months that I know of. But I only need the next 3 weeks documented. Glenn nodded, reading through my timeline. The GPS data helps. Makes my job easier. You want me on both of them or just your wife? Both. Especially when they're together. He took the job. Cost me $3,000 up front, but it was worth every dollar. Over the next 2 weeks, Glenn sent me regular updates. Photos of Leora and Donovan meeting at hotels. Entering together. Leaving separately. Lunch meetings that lasted 3 hours. His car parked at scenic overlooks where hers happened to be. Every photo was timestamped. Every location verified. Professional, clean documentation that would hold up anywhere. While Glenn worked, I worked. I created a presentation. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Just facts. I treated it like a business pitch because that's what would cut deepest, professionalism over rage. Title slide, a timeline of deception. Then chronological slides. Dates. Text message screenshots with names redacted for privacy but context crystal clear. GPS data showing her location versus what she told me. Hotel receipts. Photos from Glenn showing Leora and Donovan entering the Riverside Hotel, the Cascade Inn, the Belmont downtown. I included a slide comparing her stated location to actual location for 20 different occasions. Side by side. Undeniable. The final slide was simple: integrity matters. Deception has consequences. 63 slides total. I reviewed it a dozen times. Made it tighter. More clinical. Removed anything that sounded angry or hurt. Just evidence. Just facts. At home, I was perfect. Attentive. Present. Calm. Even affectionate when she initiated it. She thought she was getting away with it. Thought she'd figured out how to balance both lives. The loving husband at home, the exciting affair at work. She thought she was still in control. She wasn't. 10 days before the gala, Leora brought it up over dinner. The gala's coming up, she said, twirling pasta on her fork. It's going to be big this year. Lots of investors. The chairman's announcing the new development project. Sounds important. It is. She looked at me, almost hesitant. Would you want to come? I know corporate events aren't your thing, but it would be nice to have you there. I didn't hesitate. Of course. I'd love to. She blinked, surprised. Really? You're my wife. Why wouldn't I support you? Something flickered across her face, guilt, maybe, or relief that I was still playing the role of devoted husband. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Thank you. It means a lot. I squeezed back. The next day I bought a new suit. Charcoal gray, tailored fit. Got a haircut. Bought new shoes. Acted like I was actually looking forward to watching her shine in front of her colleagues. She noticed. Commented on how good I looked when I tried the suit on at home. You clean up nice, Harlow, she said, smiling. Only the best for your big night. The night before the gala, Leora was electric with nervous energy. She tried on her dress 3 times, asked my opinion on jewelry, practiced parts of her speech in the bathroom mirror. I sat on the bed, watching her, encouraging her. You're going to be amazing, I told her. I'm so nervous. The chairman's going to be there, the entire board, all the regional directors. You've prepared for this. You know your material. Just be yourself. She kissed me. What would I do without you? I smiled. Didn't answer. After she finally fell asleep around midnight, I went to my office. Opened the presentation one last time. Checked every slide. Every source. Every timestamp. My phone buzzed. Text from Sharon. Divorce papers are finalized and ready. Do you want me to serve her tomorrow morning, or should I wait until after your event? I typed back, hold them until after. She gets served in the morning. Understood. Good luck tomorrow. I didn't need luck. I had evidence. I closed my laptop and went to bed. Slept better than I had in months. Morning came cold and clear. I woke before Leora, went downstairs, made coffee. She came down at 7, already dressed, makeup done, hair perfect. Big day, I said, handing her a mug. Huge day. She was glowing. Excited. This was her moment, the culmination of months of work. In her mind, everything was going perfectly. She kissed me goodbye at the door. I'll see you tonight. The event starts at 7, but I need to be there early for setup. Can you get there by 6:30? I'll be there. I love you, Kale. She drove away. I watched her car disappear down the street. Then I went back inside. Opened my laptop. The presentation was already loaded on a USB drive. I checked my email. Glenn had sent a final confirmation. Donovan Pierce would be attending with his wife. Seated at table 4. Everything was in place. I put on my suit. Checked my reflection. Adjusted my tie. My phone buzzed. Text from Sharon, "Today's the day. You ready?" I typed back, "Yes." I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. I chose her company gala for the ending. A room full of people who admired her. People she needed. People whose respect meant everything to her career, her image, her carefully constructed life. I was going to take the stage. And I was going to burn it all down. The venue was the grand ballroom at the Belvedere, high ceilings, crystal chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The kind of place that screams money and prestige. I arrived at 6:30 exactly. Valet parking. Red carpet entrance. A woman with a clipboard checked my name off the guest list. Inside, maybe 200 people. Board members in tailored suits. Investors in designer dresses. Executives networking over champagne. A string quartet played near the bar. Everything polished. Everything perfect. I spotted Leora immediately. She was near the center of the room in a deep blue dress, laughing with a group of senior executives. Her hair was up, diamond earrings catching the light. She looked radiant. Confident. In her element. This was her world. I scanned the room and found Donovan Pierce at a table near the stage. Tall, mid-40s, expensive suit. His wife sat beside him, attractive, polished, completely unaware her husband was sleeping with the woman about to give the keynote address. Leora saw me and her face lit up. She excused herself and crossed the room. "You made it," she said, kissing my cheek. "You look incredible." "So do you." She took my arm and led me around the room, introducing me to people. "This is my husband, Cale." I shook hands. Made small talk. Played the supportive spouse perfectly. Everyone was charming. Professional. Impressed with Leora's trajectory in the company. I let her have it. Let her smile. Let her laugh. Let her believe she'd gotten away with it again. Dinner was served at 7. Filet mignon, roasted vegetables, some kind of reduction sauce I didn't taste. I sat at Leora's table with other VPs and their partners. Made conversation. Laughed at appropriate moments. Leora kept glancing at me, looking pleased I was there. At one point she squeezed my hand under the table. The speeches started around 8. The chairman went first, talked about company growth, record revenues, expansion plans. Applause. Leora's boss went next, praised the operations team, highlighted successful projects. More applause. Then Leora's name was called. She stood, smoothed her dress, walked to the stage. Poised. Professional. Every inch the executive climbing the corporate ladder. She spoke about teamwork. About integrity. About building trust with clients and colleagues. About the values that made the company successful. The irony wasn't lost on me. She was good. Engaging. Funny in spots. Self-deprecating in others. The room was with her completely. When she finished, the applause was genuine and sustained. She smiled, thanked everyone, started to step down from the podium. Then I stood. Walked toward the stage. Leora saw me coming and her expression shifted, confusion, then a flash of concern, then a forced smile. Probably thought I was going to say something sweet. Play the proud husband. The chairman looked puzzled but didn't stop me. I reached the podium. Took the microphone from Leora's hand. She stepped back, uncertain. I didn't look at her. I looked at the room. "I'm not here to celebrate tonight," I said. My voice was calm. Steady. "I'm here to show you something." The room went quiet. Confused murmurs. I pulled the remote from my jacket pocket. Clicked. The projection screen behind me, the one that had just shown Leora's presentation, lit up again. Title slide, a timeline of deception. You could feel the shift in the room. The uncertainty turning to attention. I clicked to the next slide. Dates. Hotel names. GPS coordinates. "For the past 7 months," I said, "2 people in this room have been conducting an affair. These are the facts." No yelling. No emotion. Just facts. Click. Text message screenshots. The names were blurred but the content was explicit. Plans. Promises. Complaints about spouses. Click. Side-by-side comparison, where Leora said she was versus where she actually was. 20 different occasions. Click. Photos from the private investigator. Leora and Donovan entering the Riverside Hotel. The Cascade Inn. Leaving separately. Timestamps in the corner. I narrated each slide like a business presentation. Clinical. Professional, March 15th. Claimed board meeting. Actually at the Riverside Hotel for 3 hours. April 2nd. Claimed client dinner downtown. Actually 40 minutes west at the Cascade Inn. The room was dead silent now. You could hear the projector humming. I saw Donovan stand, trying to leave. His wife grabbed his arm, her face white. Leora was frozen on the side of the stage. Her face had collapsed. All that confidence, that poise, gone. She looked exactly like what she was, someone caught. The room went dead silent. Her face collapsed right in front of everyone who ever respected her. And I didn't stop. Click. More messages. More dates. More evidence. I'm not showing you this out of anger, I said. I'm showing you because you deserve to know who you're working with. Who you're investing in. Who you're trusting. I exposed everything. Every lie, every message, every detail she thought was buried. Final slide, integrity matters. Deception has consequences. I set the microphone down on the podium. Didn't say another word. Walked off the stage. Past Leora, who was now crying. Past the chairman, who looked like he'd been hit with a brick. Past tables of executives staring in shock. Straight to the exit. Behind me, chaos erupted. Shouting. Leora sobbing. Donovan's wife's voice rising above the noise. The chairman trying to regain control. I walked through the lobby, handed my valet ticket to the attendant, waited for my car. Got in. Drove home. 30-minute drive in complete silence. By the time I walked out, her reputation was gone. I poured myself 2 fingers of bourbon. Sat in my office. My phone started vibrating. Texts. Calls. Unknown numbers. I ignored all of it. Drank the bourbon slowly. An hour later, my doorbell rang. Sharon stood on my porch with a manila envelope. Ready? She asked. I nodded. Good. She's been served. Tonight? I asked. Sharon shook her head. Morning. 6 a.m. She's staying at her friend's place according to the address you gave me. Marissa's apartment downtown. My process server will be there when she wakes up. I nodded. That made sense. Leora wouldn't come home after what just happened. The papers are ready, Sharon continued. Everything we discussed. Asset division, no alimony, clean break. She can contest it, but given what you just did in there. She almost smiled. I don't think she'll have the resources or leverage to fight. Good. Get some sleep. Tomorrow starts the hard part. She left. I locked the door behind her. I didn't sleep. Just sat in my office, drinking bourbon, watching my phone light up with messages I didn't read. At 6:43 a.m., Sharon texted, "Done. She's been served." By morning, she was served. I made coffee. Went to work like it was any other Monday. My employees knew something had happened. Word travels fast, but no one asked questions. I appreciated that. By noon, my phone had 63 missed calls. Most from numbers I didn't recognize. 3 from Leora's cell. 5 from numbers that might have been her using someone else's phone. I didn't answer any of them. What happened next, I watched from a distance. Through business contacts, through social media, through the grapevine that connects professional circles. Day 1, the video started circulating. Someone at the gala recorded parts of my presentation on their phone. Not the whole thing, but enough. It spread through the company internally within hours. By afternoon, Leora was put on immediate administrative leave pending investigation. Donovan Pierce was fired by end of business. No investigation. Just gone. Day 2, the company made a quiet announcement about personnel changes in leadership. Didn't name anyone specifically, but everyone knew. Leora's boss called me, not to yell, surprisingly. Just to tell me they were handling the situation professionally and hoped I'd respect their privacy during this difficult time. I told him I had no intention of making this more public than it already was. I'd said what I needed to say. Social media picked it up that afternoon. Someone leaked the story to a local business blogger. High-profile executive affair exposed at company gala. No names in the article, but the comments section filled in the blanks. Day 3, Leora's professional network started distancing. LinkedIn connections disappeared. Conference invitations were quietly rescinded. Speaking engagements canceled. I received calls from friends and business associates. Most were supportive. A few suggested I'd gone too far, that public humiliation was cruel. I disagreed. Privacy was a gift I'd given her the first time. She wasted it. Day 4, the company officially terminated her position. VP of Operations role eliminated, they said. Restructuring. Everyone knew the truth. I heard she was staying with Marissa still. Couldn't afford a place of her own yet. Her salary had been her primary income. Mine went into business accounts she no longer had access to. Day 5, she tried reaching out again. New numbers. Emails from accounts I didn't recognize. I blocked everything. Changed my number. Updated my email filters. I wasn't being cruel. I was being done. Day 6, mutual friends reported she was struggling. Couldn't get anyone to return her calls. Job interviews went nowhere, too many people in the industry knew what happened. One friend suggested I should help her get back on her feet. I declined. She built her reputation on a lie. I just stopped protecting it. Day 7, Sharon called with an update. She's not contesting the divorce. Can't afford a lawyer, apparently. She's signing everything as is. We can finalize in 90 days. That fast? When there's no fight, it moves quick. You've got everything locked down. She's got nothing to negotiate with. By the end of the week, she had nothing left to hold on to. No marriage. No image. No control. I wasn't celebrating. I wasn't gloating. I was just moving forward. My business was unaffected. If anything, I got more calls from potential clients, people who respected what I'd done, who valued the backbone it took. My reputation stayed intact. Hers didn't. That's the difference between being the betrayer and the betrayed. Between hiding and exposing. That evening, I was in my office reviewing contracts when my phone rang. Unknown number. I'd changed my contact info, but apparently she'd found a way. I stared at the screen. Considered ignoring it. Let it go to voicemail. But I was curious. Curious what she could possibly say now. What angle she'd try. What excuse she'd manufacture. I answered. Silence for a moment. Then her voice, broken and raw. Kale. I didn't respond. Please. I need to talk to you. More silence. Then she started crying. She cried for a full minute before forming words. I've lost everything, Kale. Everything. My job, my friends, my home. I can't get anyone to return my calls. I can't find work. I can't do this. I listened. Said nothing. Why? Her voice cracked. Why did you have to do it that way? In front of everyone? You could have just. We could have ended this privately. You didn't have to destroy me. That's when I finally spoke. I didn't destroy you, Leora. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped protecting you from it. That's not, you humiliated me in front of everyone I work with. Everyone I know. You ended my career. My reputation. You took everything. No. You did that. Every time you lied. Every time you walked into a hotel with Donovan. Every time you came home and kissed me like nothing was wrong. You built your reputation on deception. I just showed people what was underneath. She was crying harder now. But you could have handled it privately. We could have gone to therapy again. We tried that the first time. I cut her off. Therapy. Forgiveness. Second chances. You wasted all of it. Did you think I'd give you a third? Silence. You had every opportunity to be honest, I continued. Every chance to respect what we built. You chose to lie instead. That's on you. I made a mistake. You made a choice. For 7 months. Hundreds of choices. Every text, every meetup, every lie was a choice. I know, but please, her voice turned desperate. Can you make a statement? Tell people it was a misunderstanding? That the evidence was taken out of context? Help me fix this? I almost laughed. You want me to help repair your reputation? Please, Kale. I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I'll sign whatever you want, I'll never contact you again, just please help me fix this. No. Why not? Because your reputation was never real. It was built on lies and maintained by my silence. You want me to lie for you now? To help you build another fake version of yourself? She started cursing me then. Called me heartless, cruel, vindictive. Said I was punishing her beyond what she deserved. Said she hoped I'd suffer the way she was suffering. I waited until she ran out of breath. I already suffered, Leora. Twice. Once when you had the first affair. Again when you had this one. I suffered while you were out living your double life, convincing yourself you deserved both. I'm done suffering for you. I can't believe you're. I hung up. Sat in my office staring at the phone. Blocked the number. She called me crying, saying I destroyed her life. I hung up. The silence that followed was profound. The divorce finalized in 3 months. She signed everything without contest. Couldn't afford to fight, didn't have leverage to negotiate. I kept the house, the business assets, the savings I'd built. She got what she'd brought into the marriage. Nothing more. I heard through acquaintances that she moved to Arizona a few months later. Some lower-level operations job at a small hotel chain. Kept to herself. Rebuilt quietly. I felt nothing about it. My life moved forward. Business grew, turned out a lot of people respected what I'd done, saw it as standing up for yourself rather than rolling over. I got calls from other business owners, new contracts, opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise. I started dating again after 6 months. Nothing serious at first. Just relearning who I was outside of betrayal and rebuilding. Therapy helped with that, weekly sessions where I processed the grief I'd suppressed while building my case. Friends came back into my life. Real ones, who understood that self-respect isn't cruelty. A year later, I'm sitting in my office on a Wednesday afternoon. Just finished a design proposal for a new client, craft brewery launching a line of premium packaging. Good work. Satisfying. My phone buzzes. Text from someone I've been seeing for a couple months. Angela. She works in landscape architecture, has her own firm, doesn't take anyone's nonsense. Dinner tonight? That Italian place you mentioned? I smile. Type back, yes. 7? Perfect. See you then. I set my phone down. Look around my office. Everything here I built myself. Nobody else's lies, nobody else's betrayal, just my work and my choices. People ask sometimes if I regret how I handled it. If I went too far. If public humiliation was necessary. I don't. She had every opportunity to be honest. Every chance to do this with dignity. She chose deception at every turn. I didn't take that stage to hurt her. I took it to stop protecting her from the consequences of her own actions. The first time she betrayed me, I believed love meant forgiveness. The second time, I learned love also means self-respect. I didn't destroy Leora's life. I just stopped rebuilding it while she burned it down. And that made all the difference. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.